Between 1995 and 2008, the UK manufacturing sector more than doubled its productivity and was a major contributor to the UK economy. But since 2008, productivity has flatlined. Meanwhile, the global frontier, driven by the likes of the US, Switzerland and Denmark, has continued to advance, meaning the UK has fallen further behind the best in the world. But is it all bad news for UK manufacturing? I'm joined by Arjun, manufacturing sector expert and a managing director and partner here in our BCG London office to discuss. When you look at the most productive UK manufacturing firms, how do they compare to the best globally and what are they doing differently?
So the most productive manufacturing firms in the UK are roughly as productive as the most productive manufacturing firms globally. So the top of the line in the UK is still as good as anywhere else in the world. It's more the laggards that have been drawing down the average, so to speak. And what have these companies been doing differently? These companies, one, have found a very specific niche in which they are number 1, 2 or 3 globally, right? 2, I think by and large, they play the product quality differentiation role rather than the cost differentiation role, which I think makes a very big difference because in the UK, I think it is very difficult to compete on cost alone, right? And 3, I think these companies, if you take a look at, they've all got a certain aspect of high technology attached to them. And hence, as industries globally get more technology oriented, these companies have a natural advantage, right? And these could be in high-end automotive, luxury automotive, high-end components for aerospace, a lot of very specialized components, like even simple things you would think like pumps and gears, which are used heavily in a lot of process industries. The UK has got a couple of companies that are simply the best in the world at it, right? So this differentiation is absolutely key.
Across the sector, we see lots of firms that know what good looks like and know what the global best is, but struggle to get there. What holds them back?
So in the last 5 years, as you know, there have been many more 6 years, there's been many more crises than one could count, right? Between COVID and the Ukraine crisis and the interest rates going up and, you know, now what we're seeing in the Middle East. So investment in general is difficult to come by, right? We also see that a lot of these firms, the manufacturing firms that are highly specialized manufacturing firms in the UK have been investing a lot to protect their supply chains rather than to grow, right? So a lot of their sustaining capex goes into that, which obviously leads to a position where you are staying still, but you're not really growing, right? And I think that is a big gap between the answer we know and how to get there.
Given the global productivity frontier does continue to advance in manufacturing, what is the one thing that UK firms can take from the likes of US, Swiss and Danish firms if they want to catch up or keep up with the best?
So I'll give you 2. One, on the revenue side of things, I think organizations really need to find their niche and their strategic positioning very, very carefully. And we have to differentiate on quality. Because cost differentiation, as I said, is hard to do, right? I think secondly, we need to massively increase our investments in technology, both industrial technology, which is how automated plants are, and how much IT, OT is present in manufacturing plants, but also in managerial technology, which is where a lot of the artificial intelligence applications come in right now. Because ultimately what this will lead to is significant productivity benefits which can then be invested back, right? Because these organizations have got distinct opportunities to invest for growth, which is something not every company in the UK has.
Arjun, you work in this sector and you speak to our clients every day about some of their challenges and opportunities. Looking to the future, are you broadly optimistic about UK manufacturing, or do you think there's some major challenges to overcome?
So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think, again, the UK has managed to keep a healthy manufacturing base despite a lot of doomsaying in the past. However, there are definitely structural fixes that need to come into place. For example, the energy prices in the UK are unsustainably high. You cannot have heavy industry for extended periods of time at these prices. We also, I think, are behind the curve in terms of the skilling of people to get into certain manufacturing jobs. I think other countries are approaching that in a much more scientific way. But overall, I think I'm cautiously optimistic that there are enough good companies here and enough good high-end manufacturing jobs here that can lead the world in the future.
Arjun, it's been really great to hear your perspectives on the UK manufacturing sector. If you're interested in learning more about manufacturing productivity and productivity across other major UK sectors, check out the Centre for Growth's report, The Productivity Frontier.